Ready? Good evening, everybody. So today I chose this subject to talk the path to happiness. Right. So when I was preparing this lecture, this some moments to talk about. So I tried to get some information from different perspectives. Right. So and after this some presentation we can sit together and discuss a little bit more, okay? So, let's start. So I would like to start with possibilities to humanity. So Allan Kardec described that we have basically three possibilities of humanity, right? So what we need to go through this. The first one that he mentioned and would like to show to you is about materialism. Right? So materialism or materialist. So considering that possibility, we were created with the Big Bang that happened about 13 billion years ago. So suddenly we boom, explode and oh, right, so 13 billion years from nothing. So the life started, right? So and we evolved from till now, right? So there is some funny pictures that showing that you are coming back, right? So and in the materialism, we are a group of cells, right? So what happened, the Big Bang happened, and the matter start to link on each other, and from one cell to another ones, and we are a group of cells, right? So this is the materialistic flock. And when we die, everything is extinguished. So on this perspective, when we passed away, it's done, right? So you lost everything that you have, our body, and it's done. So we vanish. It's nothing anymore. Okay? And basically, on this point of view, we exist to produce products and services, and to look for pleasure. If you look on this info, what I consider that most of us are involved, right? So we are living, we need to produce, we need to provide some services, we need to work to get money, right? To our pleasure, to have a better life or to whatever, which we want. We need to work to get that, right? So this is the perspective from materialism. Right, so, and just pointing out, after that, it's done, right? So we learn that we need to work hard, we need to have a very successful life, have money, and basically what we're doing for that is to look for pleasure, right? So this is for this point of view. So the second possibility is about the pantheism. Pantheism means that explain that everything is part of God. So it means that myself, this table, everything, right, is part of God. Everybody is part of God. Everything is part of God. Okay, the TV and everything is part of God. So the sum of everything is part of God. Right? So God is the sum of everything in the universe. Right? So everything in the universe is God, considering this perspective. Okay? And we are here, a very little tiny point, we are here. Okay? So this to show how we are. And on this point of view as well, a good part is we are connected, right? So if you are part of God, everything is connected. Between me and Vandalsi, we are connected for something there that we have between us, right? And so it means that you have this connection. We came with a Wi-Fi, right? So we already can connect without our phones or our emails, WhatsApp, Facebook, whatever, right? So this is the point of view. And also, when we die, we lose our individuality. We go back to the same big pot that we became, right? And we are there. So Adriano is no longer here, don't exist, and you are part of the same thing because we went back to God, because the God has everything. Okay, so this is the possibility for pantheism. And the next one is about the theism, or monotheism, or polytheism, right? So that for 4,000 years we have this idea, right, of the God anthropomorphic, because it means that he has, if you don't know God, this is God, right? So this is God with his beard, so with there they create everything, this is God, right? So, and God gets angry, jealous, mad, punish, so this is God, this is, this is the Father, the Creator, okay? And God punishes who is against him. And what we can see through the history, a lot of examples from Crusades, Inquisition. So we have a lot of examples that in the name of God, these things happen. Right? So through the religion, through the beliefs, these things happen. And it's a funny story from Brazil that nowadays you have some guys that were converted to some religions, and they are basically they are drug dealers, right? So they are fighting against another religions and closing the centers of Umbanda, other kind of religions in name of God. So because they converted to one religion, they have the right to fight against the other ones. Right? So this is currently happening in Brazil, for example. Okay? Just to give a recent example of this. And when we die, we go to heaven. That's this beautiful place there. Right? So you walk to the place and the slides and everything good, and you don't need to do anything more. It's just rest and enjoy the beautiful life, right? So in that way. On the opposite, if gods don't like you, you can go to this place. It's the hell, right? You are burning them for eternity and it's done. That's it. But you have one possibility to regret about your sins, and you can switch easily from one place to another. Right? So this is from the idea that you have from this perspective. Okay? And in 1857, this gentleman here, that everybody knows, right? So came with not with a new idea, because this idea already exists for a long time. It just was inspired to put together everything that was happening and that was very curious about in that time, right? In France, more specifically, and he wrote this book. Right? So a skeptical guy, science guy that was curious about the things that were happening that time in France, and he wrote this book, mentioned that we are immortal spirits, so you don't die, So compare with the other ideas, when you vanish, we finish, it's done, right? So this, no, we are immortal spirits. Because they came to communicate with us, mention that. Right? So you don't die, you just change. Right? God is immaterial. It's not that elderly man that we saw before that was frustrating, because you have the idea in our mind that also is a man sitting there just pointing this and that and creating things or judging things, punishing, who is against his thoughts. Right? So God is immaterial. It's not a material, it's not a person. We keep our individuality forever. So this is an important point when you consider Spiritism, right? So it's very, bring a lot of hope to us, because when you think about it, for those that already passed away before us, our family members and everything, we think, okay, now it's gone. If you consider the materialism idea, so it's gone, vanished, right? So nevermore, it's gone. Pantheism, they went back to the whole, right? And or in the theism, you go to hell or heaven. So maybe they are one of those places, right? So, and the Spiritism brings to us that we don't leave this, you don't lose that individuality, right? And you have these ties forever with, because we will be, okay, Adriano will be Adriano forever. I am Adriano now, so of course in other opportunities I can be another person, but my spirit is the same. Right? So in the ties with my family will be forever. Right? So could be in a different way, but in the spirit will be forever linked. Right? So because we are progressing together. So nobody will be vanished forever, because we keep our individuality. That is pretty important. And our material body die, and we exist to evolve in the universe to become a pure spirit. Right? So in the evolution of the spirits, we know that the pure or perfect is the last level of evolution, talking about relativeness. So it means that you are continue evolving. You not stop evolving, otherwise you'll be in the same level of God. Right? So if you reach the God's level, it means that God is in the same level as us. So this is impossible, because God created us. They continue evolving as we continue evolving. Right? So, but the idea when the God is a person makes us to think about, oh, it's so confused. But yes, it's so confused because we cannot understand who or what God is in our level of evolution. Right? So of course that idea for a person, an elderly person, can help us to progress in some point, but it's not what God is, in fact. Alright? And when Mr. Kardec came to us and wrote the book, the Spiritist book, the first book from the codification of the Spiritism, right? So you see some questions that you would like to come back later. Because let's be very critical on this point, right? So we need to consider for someone that, okay, I never had contact with any religion, I don't understand, for me it's matter, and when it's done, right? So that's maybe most of people in the world nowadays, right? Even if they have some religion or some belief, right? So we are working, we're too immersed in the material life that we forget this in most of the time, right? So, and when you are, I will skip these topics here and we'll come back later. right? For someone that don't believe on, so they don't believe on, it's important to mix with science. So science, rational, investigation to try to understand what's going on, right? So if you are material mindset and you don't believe in everything, we need to consider science at least, right? Because it's for material, right? And you have a lot of studies, and this is one, there's a recent one that I got from Mr. Jim Tucker. This is a doctor, psychiatrist from the University of Virginia, US, that he's studying reincarnation. So he's a scientist, he's a doctor, he's not a believer, right? He's studying reincarnation, right? And through his studies, he found some conclusions on that. He wrote a book, for example, I put this one, Return to Life is just one, right? That he mentioned that the median age of the time of the previous person death is about 28 years old, 60% is male, 70% of the children claim to die in the violent or unnatural death. So you have a lot of evidence on this, on his studies about that process, right? Reincarnation. So kids that are remembering, usually from the till age of 6 years old or 7, that they had a previous life before. They start remembering and kind of crazy and try to investigate that to see the facts, if it's true or not, or could it be just a glitch on the child brain, right? So could happen, right? So imagination and everything, we cannot accept everything. As Kardec mentioned, we need to investigate, we need to ask questions, we need to go deeply before accepting some idea, right? This is the studies that a scientist is doing, right? So just one scientist in the US. And you can mention other scientists as well, it's not just one. Why? So, sorry, it's not showing here. Dr. Ian Stevenson was the most famous we can mention. He published this book, 20 Case Suggestive of Reincarnation, in 1966. Right, so it's 1966, he started investigating this kind of cases, curious case about kids that are remembering or past lives and everything. And interesting that during the studies, both of them, so Mr. Tucker and the Dr. Stevenson, they found some evidence from, okay, this person passed away on this situation, and they brought some, on the new body, some physical marks or some kind of weird situations that remind them in the past life, right? So damage or a mark or a stain on the body kind of thing. Right? So before or after, so we can mention about Dr. Raymond Moody that is still alive, and he investigates about the experiences of near death. What happens in a lot of cases of situations that the people are almost crossing, but they came back. So it's very interesting, and he mentions he's a doctor as well. So, and the other ones that you can mention, maybe famous ones, Dr. Brian Weiss in US, right? So that's mentioned about reincarnation, some very interesting thing that happens with him in regression. So he's a therapist that do regression, so the memory regression. And suddenly a patient was talking with him about some people from his family that were together with him, that he passed away before, years ago, and he never talked with nobody with that. As a patient, it's not a close relationship, right? So it's and she mentioned about the relatives that were there, and so what's that? It's crazy, right? So nobody could knows about that situation. And just to mention a few here, you can mention a lot of others that is investigating that is not believers, as I mentioned, but through the science, right? So this is an important point that we need to bring without any belief of religion or everything. So it's science investigating these facts. And I would like to share with you that is, according to the World Health Organization, right, you have 322 million people affected of depression nowadays in the world. 18% more than the past 10 years. Right, so and more. Close to 800,000 people die every year as a suicide. Right? So this is data from science, right? So it's not, oh, I'm thinking about, or I heard about. No, it's a research that is mentioned about these two topics, right? And why I brought that here? Because something is a little weird, isn't it? So we are evolving, the Big Bang, we are created, we are going to matter, and but you hear that some researches, something is happening, something is weird, right? And you have this kind of disease, this situation that is very close to everybody, for sure, right? That is epidemic, right? So that's why the World Health Organization is very concerned about this one. Don't mention that a lot of people are taking drugs to sleep, anxiety, and other kind of situations in the world nowadays, right? So, and continue. I'd like to share with you one Harvard study from a doctor as well. That's interesting, right? Because when you're looking on that part, that's a lot of people with depression, suicide, and everything, and the range for the majority of suicide is from young people, right? So you mentioned about millennials. So the millennial generation is those that born after 1980, the early 80s, right, till now. So it's a generation that they are studying. They're baby boomers, after war, Generation X, and so there's kind of little behaviors on that time, right? So, and the research discovered that for most of millennials, young people nowadays, what they think that is important for happiness, and the group that through the research mentioned that it's important for them to be rich, to get a lot of money, right? And to be famous. Right? So this is the new generation that is here, right? So they need to be rich and to be famous. Right? So, and you have nowadays through the materialism more connections than ever. Right? We have social media, we have connections, it's easy to talk. Even if we know through pantheism that we are connected, right? So, but through materialism, now it's easy to connect. You can talk with Brazil just in a cell phone and all over the world instantly, right? So it's easy to do. So, but something is weird, is wrong, right? So you see depression, you see suicide, what is happening. Oh, but we know more now because you can talk more about that. No, this is numbers, right? That's showing that the number of people, right? And this is the new generation that is here, and that for them, the happiness is about to have money, to be famous, to connect, right? To have a lot of friends, right? So nowadays, oh, how many friends do you have on social media? Oh, I have thousands of friends. So, really? Right? So they are concerned about to be famous because they need to be popular. Right? They need to post and need to use that one. So this is what we have now. So this research from Harvard University was very interesting. I was reading on TED. That was a research that is still on, that started in 1938 from Harvard University, that is researching about 724 men living in Boston, US. Right? About 60 of those are still alive, right? Because yeah, so 75 years, so a lot have passed away, but some is still alive. And they basically asked to them, so what's the answer to have a happy and healthy life? Right? So they are studying since that they are childs, they are asking questions and following their lives, doing brain scans, blood tests, so to not just talking, right? So it's about more scientific to see, okay, your cholesterol levels is too high, you died too young, or kind of things. And the interesting findings on this study was, so what is the secret of happiness? Right? So it's a scientific study, it's not religious or kind of things, nothing about that. Right? And there is some answers that they mention. The secret of a happy and healthy life is the good relationships and quality of relationships. Right? So they study for those that have very good relationships in life with family, a husband or wife, or kids, or family or friends, or co-workers, right? So they have a happier life, a healthier life, right? Besides all the physical blood tests or brain scans. So, and this is not just physically, it's about mentally as well. So, and he mentioned about the good relationships and the quality of relationships. And the doctor mentioned in this those findings that it's not just about, okay, you'll be every happy life every day, no fights, nothing, everything. No, it's not about that. You have this because it's part of life. But when you try to have good relationships for those that are already living together or have for a time of life, right? So if they can count on each other, they are happier. Even if they have pain, they face that pain in a different way, right? So because they can count with someone, they are together in that path of evolution, right, in the life. So this was the research that mentioned about the quality of the relationships. It means not a relationship just by chance, oh, we are together and suddenly we fight and oh, you split, and not about that. It's about the good relationships in the way that's okay. Even if you have some bumps, you are okay, right? So you like to be one each other and these are things, right? And the research also mentioned that 1 in 5, in this case Americans, are alone. They live alone. And when they compare someone that have good relationships with family or friends or wherever, with those that are lonely, so the lonely ones have more diseases and start to have problems in middle life. Right? So, and usually they live less than the other ones. Right? So that is so, and when you link with depression, suicide as well. So another data that brought my attention is most of suicides are from young age, and the second one is from elderly age. Right? So the second big numbers for this product. Right? So I not mention about the physical problems that we need to look after, of course, right? So, but about the mental situation, right? When you think about materialism, you think just about the matter, and that's it. I'm alone, and there's nothing else anymore. So the loved ones that I had already is gone. What I need to do here? I'm going as well, right? So, but it's done. So you not meet them if you are materialist. You don't believe in that, so you not be together again, right? So, and going back to the slides that I want to show, now I can go back to this one. So if you are materialist, if you don't believe whatever, right? So in 1857, when Kardec brought the Spiritism from the spirits, not from him, it's from the spirits that he just put together, right, in order. So we have, since that time, the thoughts about relative happiness and unhappiness. So in the Spiritist book, there's a question that is asking about, can human beings enjoy perfect happiness on earth? So can you be happy here? Right? It's okay, I believe that we are immortal, you succeed after that, but can you be happy here? Right? And the answer was no, yeah, because we are here to evolve, and you need to face some consequences for our actions. Right? So and the people must reduce their misfortunes themselves and make their lives as happy as possible while on earth. So this is the answer from the spirits. Okay. And continuing, you have another question that's so depends of each person position, right? So you have a happiness, oh, I'm rich, the other one is poor. So through the Spiritism, we understand these kind of situations many times, right? So, and I put it here on green that with regard to material life, it's this possession of the necessary for survival that bring happiness. So, from the point of view, the material point of view, so when it's sufficient, you already should be happy, right? And with regarding a moral life, the possession of good conscience and belief of the future life. That will bring happiness to us, relative happiness here. So it's 2 points of views, right? The material part and the spiritual one, the moral one. So the other one is mentioned about the what we need to do, right, to be happy. So we need to sacrifice our selfishness, pride, and vanity. Right, so this is the answers from the spirits, that from those that already live here, face the situation, went to the other side, to the spiritual world, believe you or not. So that's why the science I mentioned here, right? So just word, oh, I don't believe on that. So consider that part first, and if you understand, if you accept, you can move on, right? So to this one. And go back. Okay, so basically, what is important to consider in all these points, and this is the last slide, so is that matter is important. Yes, it is. So even Jesus mentioned, and you have on the laws, right? So from God's laws that you have, we need to take care of material things, right? Because you are living here, so give to Caesar what is from to Caesar, right? So we need to do here. So we cannot be against to be successful in life, to work hard, to have a good career. No, it's not about that, right? So it's good, it's have merit on that. The point is just to consider one part of the picture, not the whole picture. Because if you just consider that part and you don't develop the other part, the moral, you'll be not completely evolved on that opportunity that you have. Right? And for that I brought here from the Gospel according to Spiritism from John, the evangelist. So, what is this I need to read, because if you love me, you will obey what I command. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another counselor to be with you forever. The Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you. But the Counselor, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. So this is from the Gospel of John. Right, so what is this point is related, right? So we are part of the universe, yes, but we are not God. So God is the creator, we are the creation. Right? So, but we are connected, that's important. So this is one part that we can bring from, you can use from pantheism, we are connected. Right? So, and we don't lose our individuality, so that it means that the actions that we do here will continue forever, and you collect the consequences of those, good or not good, right? And we have the reincarnation, it means to come here and to evolve till to be a pure spirit. When you have the happiness as a whole, right, in a different way, not just a relative one, right? So, and how we can try to create or to follow that path of happiness in our life. So this is the key question. So there is no answer when they study the doctor mentioned. So what is the key formula, right? So that to be happy forever and everything. In the materialist point, we just look for pleasure, right? So you have a lot of situations that is showing us that is not possible because it's not a true life, a true happiness. People are addicted to drugs to try to have pleasure, right? Or to live with some things that just to be famous, as the millennials want, right? Or to be rich, so they need to work and forget about all the other values in life. So what we need to do is, as the study showed to us, through the good relationships and try to fight against our selfishness, pride and vanity, right? We can succeed, we can be truly happy in our life, even if it's relative here, but you can be happy relatively here. And you need to consider that our actions today will reflect our future tomorrow, our choices, right? And when you mention about, so I remember a lecture that we had in the past about choices, about change, right? So how hard is to us to change our actions, right? So because these thoughts that the Spirit is revived to us, so Jesus brought more than 2,000 years ago, showing by the example to us, being among with us. So since that, he tried to, come on guys, let's go, let's move on, right? And we, through our choices, we decide to try to postpone that, right? So, and it was a funny story about the senator, the Roman senator Publius Lentulus. You know who he is? So the senator was talking with Jesus and mentioned, so we need to make your choice to evolve, right? And he said, oh, okay, so you have the eternity to do that. And he decided, oh, not now. It's one decision, is okay. He was blind and had a lot of problems in the evolution, and now he's Emmanuel. right? So what it means that you can make your choice, and our guardian angel is not sad with our progress, right? So because they are already evolved, they are in the other level of evolution. What they are boring sometimes. You see, so we give the opportunity for these guys for a long time, and they're not chosen. So everything is prepared from the heaven, so to be really happy. So, and we are not choosing them, right? So because our choices are our things, right? So the invitation that we need to have is to review our lives, to see how much we are immersed in the material world, and see, okay, so this could be a barrier for my evolution or not, right? So we are, a lot of people are teaching us that, okay, the success is the most, we need to work hard, we need to do that, we need to sacrifice, we need to do everything. So is it true? If it's true, why you are seeing so many problems like depression or suicide nowadays? So just a reflection that you should have in place in each of us to consider what we are doing. Right? So what we are trying to concentrate or to do and everything. So if you wake up early in the morning, grab your cell phone beside your bed and try to look at the emails and respond to emails, I used to do that, I confess. Okay, I used to do that. But I have tried to change that to don't do that anymore. Okay, so I wake up, right, I stay there, so I try to hear a lecture or to pray and everything, and after I can try to, okay, let's go to the material world now and see if there's any mail, any things to do. Not every time, oh, let's see my message, let's see my email, let's see this, I need to do that. So you are immersed in that materialism, right? So that's why probably is the most dangerous thing to us, that we avoid postponing our evolution to the true happiness. That's it. Thank you.